Welcome, 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 welcome. How's everybody doing tonight? Type 1 in the chat if you are having an amazing, blessed day. Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me, right? Okay, cool, 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 cool. So, we are starting a little bit late today. Sorry for that. But before I jump into anything else, I wanted to ask who here has not had any major breakthroughs in trading, and I also want to know why you think you might not have those breakthroughs. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Hello. Type a one in the chat if you can hear me properly. I just checked the live stream. It sounds like the audio is fine, so we're gonna go ahead and jump straight into it. For thank you for all the individuals that showed up to this call today. I really do appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to make it to this call. Once again, I am here to serve you guys. I am not here necessarily for my own benefit, but um, serving you guys brings me the most satisfaction that I can never receive from anything else. So I will always continue to do these every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That will not stop ever. All right. So when I jump straight into it, I'm gonna just jump straight into it. When it comes to uh, focusing on becoming great at this craft, because this skill set is, let's be honest, not necessarily for everyone. Yes, you can learn it. Yes, you can become great at it, But if you are not open to trying new things, if you're not open to becoming really good at developing yourself, if you're not open to surrender yourself to potential growth and relieve yourself from all future or past pressures that you've caused on yourself, then you will never really grow at this profession. One of the things that I learned, because me and the team went to church today, was that a lot of times individuals tend to focus so much on getting started and creating the plan. But for all the individuals on here that are spiritual, God is the best finisher, right? God is the best finisher. And what I mean by that, in a sense, is when you start something, yeah, you took the first step, but it takes consistency and um, discipline to continue forward all the way to the finish. And a lot of times, individuals don't really put in the time and work to continue forward all the way to the finish. So, when I break this down, I want everyone to really pay attention to how it is I really focus on the mental side of things rather than the technical side of things. Because if you can't master the mental side, then you'll never really be able to master. Please, what are your advice about trading on Mondays, and also do you consider it red folder news when trading? Awesome. I'll go ahead and answer that question just in a second. Just give me 5 seconds. So back into it. So if you really can't master focusing on developing your inner mental self, then you'll never really be able to focus on developing your trading account and growing and compounding your trade account. When you really want to grow and you really want to develop your finances into where you want it to be, then you have to be willing to do anything and everything to get to that point. Me and my business partner and one of my great friends, Lewis, we drove all the way up. For all the people that are in Arizona, we drove all the way up to where in Scottsdale, where all the houses are sitting on the hillside, and we were just manifesting, right? Manifesting that we're going to make it to London, manifesting that we're going to get our trading accounts to this size, manifesting that we were going to build, create a culture on AZ that was going to be crazy, right? And one of the things within that was understanding and conceptually understanding that with this skill set, you could achieve and obtain any want or need in life if you're willing to put in the work for it. We were talking about the technicalities of things and like how in 14 days you could turn 1,000 to $11,000, right? Or the amount of lot sizes that you can take with $1 million or $100,000 in accounts, like crazy, mind blowing stuff. But in reality, if you master the skill set, no matter what kind of money you have in your account, you will always be able to be successful in this business. So, under and conceptually understanding that God is the finisher, but you have to believe, you have to surrender, you have to have faith in God in order for that to happen. In order to allow Him to finish, you have to surrender. You have to surrender to the endless possibilities. You have to surrender to letting go of all the past things that have happened to you. You have to surrender to the present moment in order for you to let God finish. So we're going to jump straight into it. We're going to do some Bob Proctor today. Instead of doing, the normal 15 minutes, we're going to dull it down to 10. I'm going to time it. And then we'll go ahead and just jump straight into it. To make this a lot faster, I know Osakoya Oluwafemi. Please, forgive me if I butchered that. I tried my best. But as he or she already started asking questions on the chat box, I want every individual that has any questions in regards to anything within the academy, anything in trading, anything in general, please go ahead and drop those questions in the chat box, and I will go ahead and answer them right after the personal development video. Once again, it's about 10 minutes, so you guys have 10 minutes to come and formulate your questions. Go ahead and drop them in the chat box, and I'll do my best to go ahead and answer those questions for you. All right? Cool. Let's go ahead and get started, guys.
There's not too many people alive that live through that anymore. And we didn't have dreams. We just get by was the deal.
Right.
Now, when I started Rethink and Grow Rich, I was 26. That's when I started to really dream.
Mm.
And
what do you think is the most powerful principle in the book? Obviously, there's a lot of them. For you, what's the thing that stood out?
There's a number of them, but imagination is, and I had learned. See, I was studying many things at the same time. Our higher faculties, school teaches nothing about them. Many seminars don't teach you much about them. And we talk about you becoming what you think about, but you've got to go further than that. Most people live through their senses because we're programmed to do that. Literally, we're programmed genetically and then environmentally to go by what we hear, see, smell, taste, touch. But I have a dog at home that can hear, see, smell, taste, touch. All animal life operates through senses. We've been created in God's image. We have these higher faculties. We are creative beings, literally. We have perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. They're the faculties that make us separate from everything else. Like, all the other little creatures on the planet are completely at home in their environment. We're the only creature that's totally disoriented in our environment. And that's because we've been given the faculties to create our own environment.
Right.
But we've never been taught how to use them. Now, we teach that in our company. We teach how to develop your perception, the will. You change your perception, you change your life.
Yeah.
And the will. When John Kennedy asked Dr. Wernher von Braun what it would take to build a rocket that would carry a person to the moon, bring him back safely to Earth, von Braun said, he answered him in 5 words. He said, the will to do it. Now, many people would hear that and don't really understand what he said. The ability to hold that picture on the screen of your mind and nothing else. Because the will is what gives you the ability to concentrate. Energy flows to and through you. Through concentration, you increase the amplitude of vibration when the energy leaves you. That's how absentee healing's done. Through the will. A practitioner will hold the idea, and they'll have the subject relax, be very quiet. They transfer that thought right into the person's subjective mind. And so it affects the body.
Yeah.
Well, the will is very important. So we've got to understand these things, Intuition. I can walk by a person and, I could tell, as soon as I walk in the room, I know exactly what you're like. You operate, you probably studied this, but you operate from almost evenly between the right and left hemisphere of your brain. You've got an interesting mix in your personality.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that, but,
sure.
I could feel that. You're almost an even balance between the two. And, as I say that, I'm trying to figure more one than the other, and I don't think you are. Well, your intuition will do that. Because your intuition is a mental faculty that picks up vibration and translates it in your mind. It's through intuition that you get answers to your questions. Like you asked a question, the opposite side of a question is an answer. It's the equal and opposite side. So our answer comes with our question, but we're not tuned in to pick it up. Like every question is an answer. Well, the imagination, of course, it's everything.
Yeah.
So you get these higher faculties and you get using them, and I started to learn how to use these. And I started to see that we've got so much going for us that we never hear about. School doesn't teach us. Our parents don't teach us. You go to work for a company, they don't teach you. So the odds of learning it are really slim, And it's the reason there's so few people that really are successful in life. There's all kinds of material around in success. My goodness, there's more around today than there's ever been.
Yeah.
Self-help books are, top of the bestsellers list.
They're crushing, yeah.
In 1968, when I first started to study this, you had Norman Vincent Peale's Power of Positive Thinking, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Carnegie. It was a few books, Think and Grow Rich, but there weren't that many. Today, there's thousands of them.
Yeah, people need it because they don't know how to use the tools that we have.
But they don't know how to use the information that's in the books.
Right. How do we... So what are these 5 faculties again? You said?
You have perception.
Yeah.
Intuition. The will. reason,
Reason.
imagination. There's 6,
Well,
and
6.
memory. Like everybody has a perfect memory. It's just weak. I worked with Harry Lorraine, who's probably had the best trained memory in the world. And I asked him one time, he said, Harry, how long do you remember something? She said, still don't want to forget it. We had a man, Abdul, over in Saudi Arabia for a matrix seminar that we conduct. And he was a psychiatrist, he was teaching people to memorize the Quran. Jerry Lucas, the basketball player, he was teaching people in San Fran to memorize the Bible. We have a perfect memory. It's just weak. We never develop it.
Right.
But we grow up and got such a bad memory. Well, there's no such thing as a bad
The
memory.
more you say it, the more you're going to convince yourself that it's weak.
That's exactly, yeah.
Which faculty of the 6 was the hardest for you to tap into and
Well,
become a master
they're
of?
all difficult to tap into because we're programmed not to use them.
Why is that?
Because there's only one problem in the whole world, and that's ignorance. We didn't know we had them. See, people talk about perception, but they don't see it as a mental faculty. You know, it's just a word. If I have a challenge, if something really struggling with, I've learned how I'll take and I'll write it out on a piece of paper as clear as I can, as if I was going to give it to you, and then you'll understand the same as I understand the problem. I'll put it in the middle of a table, and I'll sit and look at it, and I'll keep asking, now, is that problem in me or is it on the paper? Is it in me? And I'll work until I get it on the paper, get it out of myself.
For example, what do you mean, like a problem that you might...
Well, anything that I'm trying to figure out, maybe how to improve a particular seminar I'm just not happy with. I've been doing it for a long time, you know.
So you would write down...
Yeah, write down
the problem.
any
Is the
problem
seminar.
you've got. I don't care what the problem is. Maybe you're short of money. You don't have enough money.
Right.
Write that down.
Right.
You know, you're short of money for a purpose. You were wanting to buy a building or something.
So you look at the paper, and then you ask yourself,
Is the problem in me or is it on the paper? And you work until you get it on the paper. Get it out of yourself. So you can look at it objectively, like a stranger would. And then go and sit on the other side of the table. And I may say, now, you know, how would Lewis Howes look at this?
yeah.
How would he handle this? I may go sit at the end of the table and literally move physically and say, how would Earl Nightingale handle this? How would he see this? I may say, how would Napoleon Hill go somewhere else? And then a person doesn't have to be alive. They could be dead.
Right.
Their energy's not dead. It's
Yeah.
always here. And, well, what you're doing is shifting your perception. As you change your perception, you eliminate the problem. The answer's there. But you've got to get in harmony with it. You know? So any one of them, you take any one of them. The will, like we were talking, the will. If somebody's standing behind you, let's say in a mall, and they're staring at you, you feel them staring at you, don't you?
Yeah.
Why? Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. And when a person's staring, they're concentrating, they're sending such a powerful charge of energy at your brain that you start to feel it. You turn around, sure as hell, there's somebody there staring at you. Concentration increases amplitude of vibration. There's a power flowing to and through us all the time. It never stops. You can photograph the energy leaving the body. Well, concentration increases it, makes it more powerful. So whatever you concentrate on, you're giving more energy to. Emerson said the only thing that can grow is the thing you give energy to. So as you start to learn how to utilize these higher faculties, you start to learn how to improve the quality of your life. And you start to see why you're God's highest form of creation. You know, it's like I don't see God as a man on a cloud.
Right.
Just going to answer my questions for him. You know, there's a great author one time said, God will feed every bird, but he's not going to put food in their nest. You got to do it. You know, God's not going to do it for us. We got to do it.
Yeah.
And so we've got these higher faculties. We've got to learn how to utilize them.
Which one was the hardest for you to learn how to utilize, and which one do you think is the hardest for the majority of people?
Intuition.
Was for you and everyone
No,
else?
not for me.
Intuition for
No.
everyone else.
Yeah. because I made up my mind I was going to study that one. I saw a guy that was very intuitive, and I wanted to be like that. And I thought it was, I would have said when I first saw it, he was psychic. Well, the truth is, he was psychic, but we're all psychic.
We are.
Psyche is just Greek word for mind. And so I was fascinated with what he did. He could just look at you and read the situation. And I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So I made up my mind I was going to study it. And in a seminar, if I'm teaching this, the one thing everybody wants to know, how do you develop your intuition? Because you can get, intuition is a focus on the other
So
person.
you can't be insecure when you're trying to be intuitive.
Oh, no.
You can't be doubting yourself.
Uh-uh.
You can't be lacking something.
You have to give all of your attention to the person you're working with.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a secret for speaking too. Most people don't do that. We're more concerned, what's he think of me? Does she like me? And was my tie straight? Is this?
What am I going to say next?
Yeah. What am I going to say? Am I going to say the right thing? You got to take your mind off yourself totally and put it on the other person, and you got to be relaxed. You got to get very relaxed, and you'll tune into their energy. You start feeling it. Like if you're with somebody and you say, "God, they were interesting. Why were they interesting?"